house in southeast Portland with an undesirable address and a less than positive history.
Now, ever since some horrible things happened to people who lived there 20 years ago, it's had a label it simply can't shake. Tonight, Tim Becker takes us to the Hell House in tonight's...
Mr. Wade here and Mrs. Crime. So we are out here in Portland, Oregon to do a video on something that's up our alley and your alley. We drove out here to Portland, Oregon, me and Mrs. Crime, to do a video on a home that is stigmatized with the term Hell House. Now, why would they call it Hell House? A lot of things happen in this one particular house. Me and Mrs. Crime drove past this house, and there are people living in it right now. Now, to break it down to you, Portland, Oregon, or Oregon itself, they have a no statute law of when you buy a home, they ain't got to tell you what happened in the house. So that's part of the get down of the difference between here and, let's say, California. California, they must let you know what goes on in the house. So I'm gonna break it down what happened. Stay tuned. Pow.
If anybody stayed in there very long, we all wondered, did they know?
As you see, it's a gorgeous neighborhood. A lot of beautiful things here. Baseball tryouts across the street over here. Nice homes, quiet neighborhood. Very nice, right? So I'm gonna break it down on what happened on this particular neighborhood avenue that everybody still calls this place the Hell House. The Hell, H-E-L-L. Stay tuned.
The house was gaining a reputation, and those numbers 7734 had earned it the dark and depressing title that lives to this day.
Basically, it is the Hell House. It was always a little spooky that here this happened, and here the address, it does spell hell. So it was very intriguing.
So we're walking, enjoying this place, right? Now, the house in question is right here to my left, as you see it. This house right there, the address has changed many a times. But that house right there is what they call the H-E-L-L. Now the address, I will post that. It actually spelled the word hell backwards. So that's the house right there. I'm on a corner of Lambert and 36th Avenue.
Late this afternoon, Portland homicide detectives were called to a murder scene in southeast Portland.
At that scene, 3 bodies were found.
Late summer 1989. The quiet of this inner southeast Portland neighborhood shattered when a 34-year-old shoots her 2 daughters and then turns the gun on herself.
So let's break it down on what happened in this particular house. Now, a while back, there was a mom and I think 2 or 3 kids. Now, whatever happened in the house, only they know at that particular time. So what they did was, the mom killed her 3 kids, 2 or 3, and killed herself inside that house I just showed you. That's one of the reasons they call it the Hell House. Now, later on, someone bought the house, and it was a lady. I heard she was a sweet lady, nothing bad about her, but she was a sweet lady, and she bought the house. And even though neighbors know, they must have never told her because she bought the house. Once again, the realtor don't tell you what really happened. And they're not disclosed to tell you. If you asked them, I don't know if they'll lie to you or not. But anyways, the neighborhood never told her as well.
It later was home to a midwife named Martha Browning Bryant.
Bryant's neighbors remember her as a quiet and friendly person.
In 1992, Bryant's VW bug was found peppered with bullets in Washington County. Her body a few hundred yards away, shot in the head. The second of 4 women victimized by serial rapist and killer Cesar Baroni.
So this lady lived in a house, and somehow they found her car miles away. I don't know how far away. They found her car shot up. Now they found a lady. Her car was found, windows shot out, and they found her body dead, dragged across the street, living off the side of the main highway. And come to find out, she was murdered by a murderer that we actually did a video on called Cesar Baroni. Now, I think he changed his name later on, Mr. Cesar Baroni. But we did a video on that serial killer, and that's the reason the killing that happened to the second owner of the house. Now, if you notice recently, there are people living in the house. So either that was disclosed to them about what happened, or maybe they don't know. But hey, I'm not going to interrupt them over there. Let them enjoy their home. But that house there has a big stigmatism to it. The neighbors call it the Hell House. They had to take down the address because people kept coming by looking at it. And they also boarded up at one point. But it looks a pretty house. It's open. Mr. Wade sees people in there enjoying a good time. Anyone disturb them and anything like that. But you guys got a glimpse of the house. The Hell House. Stay tuned.
Something happens in the house, that's not a material defect. You're not required to disclose anything. Anything that happens in the house, murders, deaths, suicides, you're not required to disclose.
As you see, it's a very nice neighborhood. Anything can go on in anybody's house. Don't know what's going on, but anything can happen, right? Very beautiful house. Very beautiful neighborhood. So to know that things like that go on in a quiet neighborhood, not just a loud neighborhood, but that house there had particular reasons of being called the Hell House because what happened? The first lady killed her and her 3 kids, or 2 kids. The second lady lived there, the second owner. They find her dead in the middle of the street, car window shot out, sought after by a serial killer named Cesar Baroni. It was boarded up for a while. Someone else got evicted recently. Now recently someone else has bought it. A lot goes on. Pow.
That lived there in the mid-90s shared these pictures of what they say was a warm, welcoming home for 4 years. But today, it stands empty again. Has been for months.
Not even a lockbox on it, so it's not up for sale.
No numbers either. The last owner says he took them down on purpose.
So as I'm walking and telling you guys about this Hell House, I've been stopped numerous times by people saying, "Who are you?" They're not used to seeing a person walking around with a phone or a camera. I guess videotaping the neighborhood a little strange, but Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime are showing you guys some stories. You know, we drove out here to show you the guys a Hell House. H-E-double-L-L. So think about it. If you got an address where the number changes a lot, they change the number of the house, the address, just so people won't drive by or know what's going on. But that house had a double history. Might be a third history. We don't know. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this unfortunate story, of course. If you haven't already, check that saga series out. A lot of unfortunate stories by Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime. Mr. Wade here and Mrs. Crime. Hope you guys enjoyed this story of the murder house, the Hell House. I'm Mr. Wade and Mrs. Crime. Stay tuned for a lot more from Tombstone Whispers.